Yeah, I've been up there. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. What do you do at the plant?
I'm a salesman. I'm from Texas.
Right on. That's awesome. Yeah, I love it up there. It's always fun.
This last rig that I sold, we outfitted it with FireTech.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much.
We love it, man. I really, really like the lighting.
That's great. Oh, yeah. Well, stick around. I'm about to give a presentation on the new stuff.
I was, but you're a real
well, we'll see. We'll see.
I thought I was a light doing, but you're like the light super presentation.
Thank you. That's awesome. I'm about to do another one. If you're interested, it'll be 5 minutes long, just out in front of the truck.
Check it out.
Cheers. Is it time? Ready? All right, done. There we go. Oh yeah, gotta be safe. Get those unions at bay. Ah! I think I'd get more hurt if I fell off with this thing than without it. Thank you. Has it been on there for a while? Yeah. Okay, we can dump it. There you go, thanks. What's up, everybody? Whoa, that's a little loud. It'll be all right. Welcome to FDIC 2024. I'm Sam from High Vis Lighting and the FireTech brand, and I'm going to show you guys the FireTech Omen light bar and High Vis Connect warning lights. If you don't know, it's the most durable light fixture on the market. I'm going to walk through what makes it so cool. Thank you guys for being here. When I start talking about lighting tech, it's always important to talk about where we came from in order to know where we're going. So I'm going to start with a little history lesson on some of the lighting in the space, and then we're going to talk about why this thing does what it does and why you can whack it with a baseball bat so hard sometimes it actually breaks the bat. But to kick this thing off, if you think about the shape of traditional lighting in the fire service space, the first warning lights were shaped like bubble lights because they had basically a light bulb with a mirror that rotated around them inside of a housing, and they had a colored lens to make it look red or blue or whatever. And so as folks first came out with that tech 50 or 60 years ago, there was then a need, okay, I need a little bit brighter. And so to make that tech brighter, the first light bars were developed specifically with multiple rotating assemblies and belts and pulleys and lamps and that sort of stuff. And so what happened in those sort of assemblies was you had to replace light bulbs just like you have to replace brake lights in an older car and that sort of stuff. So light bars shape always had covered lenses, always had multiple parts inside, and you always had to reach inside to service them. As tech evolved, there were strobe tubes, and these were awesome evolutions of technology because they were brighter at more intense point, but they also changed, the shape and style and look of the bar, except that they still always had a top cover. There were colored lenses on top of the bars, and those colored lenses then gave you the red and the blue and that sort of thing. As tech further evolved, LED lights started coming out where they had modular assemblies you would clip in place because much of the tooling was the old tooling. You would just put LED modules behind the colored lenses and then colored LEDs. As I thought about for high vis, for us to enter this market, oops, my clicker's dead. Come on, thing. There we go. Are we good? As we entered the market, I looked at the legacy tech and thought, tech has changed a lot since the old rotators to the strobe tubes to the LED bars. And this isn't something I'm thinking about like competitors here. This is just the technical evolution. And I was thinking, how would high vis be competitive if we entered the warning light space? Because people like you guys have asked us for years here at FDIC, are you guys ever going to get into warning lights? And until we had a competitive reason, I really thought it probably didn't make sense to do. So when I was on this research journey, I thought, what would Tesla do? If Tesla were entering the warning light space, how would they approach the problem of legacy tech's evolution, and what problems would they try and solve that might be a little bit more unique than kind of the traditional vehicle? Obviously, you look at their vehicles look a little bit more like spaceships, and they've got a lot of computer processing and that sort of thing on board. When you look at, might be losing it. Spence, can you reset the video processor real fast? I'll just talk about it. When you think about the Tesla vehicle experience, it's a very different experience than an automotive experience where you've got the battery pack and the touchscreen and that sort of stuff. And I thought, well, maybe I should buy one and I should ride in this thing to feel what it's like to feel the difference. And so Keoma, who's floating around somewhere, is also my wife, we sold our personal vehicles and bought a 1949 Ford F1, and we bought a 2023 Tesla Model X. And we drove it back and forth to and from the house every day for a year while we were thinking about developing warning lights to figure out what an experience was like that was truly revolutionary within the span of about a single human lifespan. And what we found was really surprising. It actually wasn't the battery pack, it wasn't the touchscreen, it wasn't any of that stuff. What the most unique difference was that the Tesla is hardware which has software installed on it to enable a set of features. I'll tell you a quick story. We went down to Thanksgiving. I live in North Carolina, my family's in Virginia. So we drove to Virginia for our Thanksgiving thing, and we drove the Tesla. And when we got there, I plugged it in, I connected to Wi-Fi, and we downloaded a software update, just that said, hey, you need to do whatever. So I go inside and do our thing. And when I went home, I double-clicked the steering wheel cruise control button, and the car drove me home. It was the same hardware, but the software had totally changed the set of features that I was using, and a new set of functions and features were enabled. When I thought about the warning light space, I thought that the warning light space could probably have a very similar concept if we built hardware that had every color, had every parameter, every sensor, every controller, every communication bus built right in, and then we enabled a set of features using software. We could probably enable a similar set of cool functions, kind of like Tesla did. So can one of my team go in the back and just reset the video controller, just power it off and back on? Okay, cool. When you look at lighting tech, the lighting tech space kind of evolved in a similar process. We thought, well, we could solve two problems. First one, let's solve the water problem. When you look at warning lights, software is great, but you got to start with hardware. And so when we looked at light bars, the reason that other light bars fail is because when you whack them against trees and you whack them against stuff as you're driving the vehicle, they crack. And when they crack, water gets inside, or they've got gasketed interfaces where the gasketed interfaces fail and you get water inside. For the FireTech light fixture, we thought we could solve that by building an all aluminum modular housing. This is the module. There's no middle. We built a light bar that's like a bucket without a bottom. If you don't want water in a bucket, you cut the bottom out of it. If you don't want water in a light bar, we do the same thing. You create a modular array of fixtures that mount to this extruded mounting track. And that extruded mounting track, which you can't see, and maybe I can show you in the video if it pops back up later. Nope, you sure can't. That extruded mounting track lets you have all of your fixtures mounted on the exterior of it. So then we thought, okay, well, if we take that extruded modular control parameter, and then we take the light modules and we put 5 colors, red, green, blue, amber, and white, then we can enable features like, what you see here is a shoe mode, matches my shoes, but you can enable things like responding modes where you've got, this is a red and blue light bar, whoops. You can do red and green, that's red and red. You can do red and amber. You don't have to have different parts spec'd if you've got modular assemblies that have all 5 colors built in every time. The last thing we thought, if you look at the bottom half of this pictures here, what you'll see is every module can be put on a light track, and the modular configuration allows you to have a single part number. And so if you've got 10 different size light bars and you've got 10 different part numbers, traditionally when you had to put red, green, blue, amber, and different modules in your bars to configure them, it was not super straightforward, not super easy to do, because you would have to have a part number for an assembly of a light bar where there was a red, blue, and then another part number where it was red, and another part number that was red and white. And with the FireTech system, because we have all 5 colors in every module, when you choose a 48-inch bar or a 60-inch bar or a 72-inch bar, it's a single part number for a single sized bar, and that bar then can be configured however you want using software. So I'm going to walk through a little bit of the HiVis Connect protocol, which I can't show you, but I'll just talk about. The HiVis Connect protocol allows you to configure your flash patterns, configure your functions. When you think about our system, the system starts with 4 response modes: red, responding day, responding night, on-scene day, and on-scene night. And so when you take this system and you program those functions into them, you can have response modes which look like, this is a response mode. This is like a responding during the day. When you get on scene, we can do things like dim them. So here's a park mode, you've got a dim mode, you can do a night mode where the intensity drops. All this stuff is controlled with software, and it's done after you build the truck versus beforehand. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this thing short because I can't show you the rest of the presentation. The video wall's out. I'll restart this thing in about 30 minutes, and if you guys wanna see the rest of it, we'll catch you guys then. Otherwise, come by and I'll show you in person. Thanks so much.
The building breaker. Dan went to find the facilities people to flip the breaker back
Got
to
it.
the building.
Okay, cool. Wonderful. That's okay.
A breaker though, not any of our stuff.
Yeah, perfect. All right, let me hand you guys that.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah.
Hey, the
Still
thing,
showed the tech.
Yeah,
the
well.
thing to add at the end is to tell everyone to come in and get a swag bag from our team.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can be available for that.
Yeah, it threw me off so bad I couldn't really talk about it. I was like, fuck. Well, I had all my notes and then my screen's out. Everything's out.
Yeah.
I was just like, I can't really see
They're on
anything.
a different circuit. From here up off the circuit, that must be on the same circuit.
Oh, interesting.
Facility power.
Interesting. Oh, that's a shame. Well, sorry, everybody. How are you guys?
Hey, Sam.
Good to see you. You doing well?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Good to see you. We had good
Yeah,
time.
great to see you. That's great, yeah. Sorry I couldn't finish the demo. I had this whole, I have like a thing I was going to go through all the stuff, and I was like, I don't actually see what it's doing, so I can't see the bar from